Okay guys, in this video we're going to go over a couple of examples. Now make sure that you watch the previous video so you guys can go ahead and know how to do the specific example that I did on that video. These are going to be a bit different. Okay, so before we get started, I want you guys to go ahead and do the following. Go ahead and change your calculator from radians to degrees if you have not done so. If you want to look at another example how to do that, I'm going to quickly show you. So first you click on your calculator, click clear, and then you go ahead and go to mode. You go down to the third one where it says radian. Make sure that it's actually on degrees. I actually went ahead and did this with my calculator, but it's important that you do that with yours as well. Now another thing that I want to make sure that I emphasize is that you guys can go ahead and download a calculator either for your PC or for your phone. I recommend the phone one at the site, or sorry, not at the site, with this app. You can go ahead and type this into the App Store or the Android Store, and you should be able to get the same calculator that I have. Just make sure that you click on TI-84 Plus. Alright, and I'll also put a link, or I'll write it down in your Google Classroom so you guys can go ahead and have it there as well. Alright, so on to the examples. So number one, you first have to go ahead and write this down. So SOHCAHTOA, remember these are the three functions that we're focusing on. The first one being sine, the second one being cosine, and the last one being tangent. So you have to first identify which one of these three we're going to use. So you start with the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the one that's opposite to this square. So it's going to be my hypotenuse. And then I look at my angle that I'm given. That's the one that has the little circle on top. So this is the angle that I'm given. Now I have to decide whether this is going to be my opposite or this is going to be my opposite. So it doesn't make sense for this one to be my opposite because the arrow is curved. So the one that's opposite is always the one that goes straight across. So it's going to be my opposite, and that means that my last one, 12, is going to be my adjacent. Now, what are we not given? So we do not know what the hypotenuse is. So you guys can go ahead and forget about that one. So we're not going to use that one. So we're focusing again on O and A, right? So we're looking at which function has O and A. So of the three, the one that has O and A is going to be the tangent. So we're going to go ahead and do tangent. Sorry about that. So it's going to be tangent. So the function is going to be tangent, and you don't need to write the whole thing. You just put tan. And in this case, A is going to be 69 degrees. Is equal to, so 69, or the angle that's inside, goes inside the parentheses, is equal to the opposite, which in this case is x. So it's going to be x over 12. And then from here you have to go ahead and solve. So think about it this way. How would you solve this if you had, for example, 2 is equal to x over 12? What would you do to both sides? Well, you would multiply 12 on both sides, right? So this is the same thing. Remember, tangent of 69 is really just a number. So all you have to do is think about it as if it was a number. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 12. And if I go ahead and do that, well, it's going to become 12x. And then 12x divided by 12, that's just going to be a big 1. And the x by itself. So we have the following. So our answer is going to be 12 times tangent of 69 degrees is equal to x. And now you have to go ahead and put this in the calculator. So it's going to be x is equal to, well, let's use our calculator. So, and here the calculator, let me turn it on. Why is it not turning on? There. So we put 12 times tangent of 69. And my answer is 31.26. So 31.26. And now let's say that we're rounding it off to the 10th place, then you go ahead and circle the 2. You look at the 6, that's 5 or greater, so that means that I have to go up. So my answer is 31.3 is equal to x. Alright guys, let's go to the next example. So in this case, again, we have to first identify what is my hypotenuse. So that's the one that's opposite to the 90-degree angle. So it's going to be this one. So it's going to be my hypotenuse. And now we look at the angle that is given. That's going to be this one. So this is going to be my opposite, and this is going to be my adjacent. Remember, adjacent is the one that has a little curve on the arrow. And the one that is straight is going to be the opposite. So it's going to be opposite, and this is going to be adjacent. ADJ. Alright, so now we don't know what the opposite is, so I can go ahead and get rid of this. We don't need that. So we're focusing on H and A, right? So which one of these three has A and H? So I'm looking for AH or HA. So there's no HA, but there is an AH. So we're going to go ahead and focus on the second one. The second one being cosine. So we're using CA. So CAH, and that's cosine of degrees is going to be 68 is equal to, well, which one goes first? The A goes first. So that means that my A, which is in this case is X, goes first, and then the 20. The order matters, guys. Make sure if A comes first, that means that that one goes on top. Alright, now we go ahead and try to solve this. So how do you solve this? Again, you have to go ahead and get rid of the denominator. So in this case, it's the number, so we multiply both sides by 20. Now notice that this is different from the original example that I used in the lesson. In the lesson, I had an x on the bottom, but you still do the same thing. You still have to multiply both sides by the denominator, which in this case was x. Now, for the example number 2 here, we multiply by 20, so we multiply by 20. These two cancel out. This becomes a 1. And this is going to be 20 times cosine of 68 is equal to x. So we go ahead and put that in the calculator. So it's going to be 20 times cosine of 68, and that gives me 7.49 is equal to x. And now remember that we're going to round to the 10th place. So we look at this. The next number is a 9. So is that a 5 or greater? Yes. So that means that the 4 turns into a what? 5, right? So 7.5. Is equal to x. Alright, now the last question. So for the last question, let me put that I erased too much. This is supposed to be CAH. Alright, so this one, for number 3, we have to go ahead and start with the what? Hypotenuse. So 20 is my hypotenuse. And then we look at our angle. So that's going to be this little corner. So which one's opposite to that corner? That's going to be my x. So that's going to be OPP. And this is going to be my ADJ, right? Because that's the last one. So now we go ahead and we're using these two, so O and H. So I either need to find OH or HO. Which one of those two do I have? So that's going to be OH, right? Sorry about the keep on the message keeps on appearing. So we have OH, so it's going to be sine. So we're using SOH. So this stands for sine, and the angle in this case is 70. So it's going to be 70 is equal to, which one goes first, the 20 or the x? Which one goes first, guys, the 20 or the h? So the x, right? Sorry, I said 20 or the h, right? I meant the x. So 20 or the x. So the one that goes first is going to be the O stands for x. So it's going to be x over 20. And then from here, we have to go ahead and multiply both sides by 20. 20. So these two cancel out, become a 1. My answer is going to be 20 times sine of 70 is equal to x. You put this in the calculator. So this is going to become 20 times sine of, I don't remember the angle. Let's see, what was it? 70. So sine 70. Now go ahead and try this in your calculator. If you're getting a different answer from what I have, that probably means that you have radians instead of degrees. So the answer that I got is 18.79. So we have 18.79 is equal to x. But remember, we want to round. So to the 10th place is here. I look at the next number, and that's actually a 9. So that means that my round, when I round this, is going to be 18.8 is equal to x. And I am done. Okay, guys, so I hope this helps. If you have any questions, make sure you send me the questions through Remind or send me an email. That's it. Bye, guys.